Hi everyone, Crystal from DP Selezioni here, and today I'm going to introduce you to some of my friends from Cantina del Taburno. Okay, let's just focus on the name first. Cantina del Taburno. So cantina is like chateau. Chateau means castle. Cantina is like canteen, so definitely one being more majestic than the other. But it's just another name for the winery. So other names would be bodega, estate, domain. It really all means winery. Del means of. Taburno means Taburno. So it's a mountain, a very famous mountain where the winery is located. So it's the winery of Mount Taburno. That's essentially the name. Cantina del Taburno. Now, Cantina del Taburno is located in Campania. So for those of you who joined us last time, Campania is in the southern area of Italy. So this little red patch here, it's in the southern boot there. Naples being the capital city, and the Amalfi Coast and Capri being two other areas that are very popular to visit. And we're going to do a little close-up here. So this is the actual region here, zoomed in. You'll see the star, that's where Naples is. If you drive northeast, you see this little area called Benevento, and there's some mountains just, here we are, the west here. This is where Mount Taburno is, and this is where Cantina del Taburno is. So in this northeasternly area. And I would like to show you a picture of the mountain because it is quite beautiful. And you'll see there's a lot of vineyards that are scattered around the mountain. You'll see, like here specifically, this picture was taken in autumn, so you can see the beautiful colors in these little patches of land. So this is the area where Cantina del Taburno is. And it's a really special winery, mainly because it's a very unique cooperative. Now, some people hear cooperative, they think, oh, it's where a bunch of people bring their grapes and they make wine and they sell it as table wine. You know, it's wine you drink on holiday. It's very cheap. That's some cooperatives. This property operates in a very, very, very different way. So this cooperative is owned by the Agricultural Consortium of Benevento. So that province, that area around those mountains I just showed you on the map. And what's unique about them is they work with 300 different farmers. So I'm going to pull over my mountain here. It's a mountain of spaghetti, but it will do the job. So these 300 growers are scattered through 12 different villages around Mount Taburno. And some of them might grow Falanghina, some might grow Aglianico, some might grow Perirosso, Fiano, Greco, or a combination of all of these. Don't worry, you don't have to remember all of those grape names. We're only talking about 2 today. And how it works is, yes, it's a lot of management. The cantina, I'm going to put my mountain away. The cantina tells the growers how to grow their grapes, when to prune the vines, how to train the vines, when to pick the grapes. And when the grapes are harvested, which is, as I mentioned, decided by the cantina, the farmers bring them in and they're assessed. So every grape bunch is assessed for quality levels. The higher quality levels, the more money the growers get. So it's additional incentive to produce the best crop that's possible for these growers. And the grapes they don't take, they can sell to other wineries. They can sell off, in a number of ways. But the cantina will always say, we will take the best of your crop. And so if maybe some farmers didn't have quite a great vintage, obviously, if it's a bad vintage or a tough vintage for the whole area, the whole area, kind of comes down a bit, or does their best to make the best wine they can. But in years where there's really great grapes, they're very picky about the ones that are selected to go into their wines. So that's really how it works. There's a huge level of quality control, and they do so much for the community and likewise the community for the winery. So aside from being the economic heartbeat of the town of Folianese, where the winery is located, it's also an educational center. So University of Naples has a very well-known winemaking program, and many of the students will come and learn here. So there's a program to, whether it's grape growing or whether it's working in the winery or working, in the laboratory side of the winery, or whether it's sales and marketing, they get to learn each area or a specific area that they're interested in, and many of them write their theses. So it's an education center. It's really a community center. They employ so many people in the area. It's really the heart and soul of this area. So, and their philosophy, aside from really making it a community thing, is they want to make textbook varieties or textbook expressions. So if you're going to taste a Falanghina and compare it with another one, this would be the benchmark. So they want it to taste exactly how it's supposed to taste. No experimentation. They're not playing around with different types of oak or different toasts of oak. So, some whites you taste are quite heavy. They're not playing around with other things like amphora, which are these clay vessels. It's really all about freshness and signature expressions. So they actually grow 8 different grapes in these 12 villages around the mountain. And today we're just going to focus on 2 of them to make it nice and easy. Falanghina for the white and Aglianico for the red. So I have 2 expressions of Falanghina here. This one here, Folius. Folius takes the name of the village where the winery is located, Folianese. And this is 100% Falanghina. It's made in the Charmat method. So it's the same method that they use for a lot of making a lot of Prosecco in the northeastern part of Italy. And this one is just, I would say if you're going to compare it to Prosecco, there's a lot of personality here. Not to say Prosecco doesn't have personality, but here Falanghina is one of these grapes that's known to have these stone fruit characters. So stone fruit is a peach or an apricot where there's actually a stone pit inside. And so you get these peachy apricot-y notes. You have this sort of raw almond, lovely minerality. There's also some herbs, like fresh garden herbs. There's a slight greenness in a very positive way. And the wines are quite fresh, particularly from this area. So with the sparkling, it's an extra dry category. It's a little bit confusing. I don't know who made up these rules, but extra dry doesn't mean it's actually extra dry. It just means it's a little bit sweet. So basically the opposite of what it sounds like. I won't go into that, but the naming process for how dry a wine is, sometimes some of the names are a bit confusing. So extra dry means just slightly sweet. So it would be sweeter than a brut, let's just say. So, but not sweet. I love this with, if I have, a nice fresh like seafood Thai curry, or anything that has a little bit of spice or lots of herbs. It just, this sparkling Falanghina just brings it to life. But at the same time, it's just delicious to drink on its own. Price point, we're looking at a very similar amount as what you would see with, a good Prosecco. So you're not competing price-wise, but it's just something nice and different to try. So the grapes on the Folius are harvested a little bit later, hence where that additional sweetness comes from. And usually that's late August. It really depends on the vintage and how, what the harvest was like what the growing season is like. That really determines the harvest dates. And the next one is their still Falanghina. You'll notice it's in these tall, slender bottles. These are called Rhine bottles, the shape of this. And usually it signifies the style of wine. So you'll see these in Germany, hence the name Rhine, the Rhine River and wines along the Rhine. You'll see a lot of their white wines bottled like this. Same in Austria, also northern Italy, Alto Adige, that area on the German border. You'll find a lot of wines that are bottled like this, and they can be a number of different varietals. But usually they're wines that are quite fresh. There's lovely minerality. They're quite vibrant, and this is no exception. So you'll find other Falanghina from Campania that are kind of in this this bottle that has a shoulder here, what you find in Bordeaux and California and Cabernet. Anyways, not to go too far in that direction, but they want you to look at this bottle and say, this Falanghina is going to be fresh. It's going to have this lovely mineral lift, and it's going to be one that's on the lighter side. So if you go to other parts of Campania, you'll find Falanghina can be heavier, so more unctuous, a little bit more rich. So it just depends on the style you like. I personally love Cantina del Taburno's Falanghina, and particularly the price tag. At below or a little above $15, depending where you are in the country. In Europe, it might even be a little bit less. It is absolutely unbeatable. You cannot find quality like this at the value. And that's another thing that they take very seriously is, aside from, hiring and educating people from the area, they want to make it very accessible. So their prices will never be exorbitant. They want to make it approachable for everyone. Now, Fidelis. So Fidelis means fidelity or loyalty. So as being loyal stewards to their land, their classic wine is Aglianico. So this is an Aglianico-based wine, and it's one of the most elegant expressions. So because they're in the northeast, this area of Taburno has slightly different soil than you'll find in some of the other parts of southern and central Campania. So there's a lot of volcanoes that are scattered throughout the region, and Mount Taburno is actually a dormant volcano. So you do have bits of volcanic soil, But specifically here, you also find limestone and you find sand. So what that gives the wines is this sense of elegance and minerality that really gives it just this lovely, lovely soft character. The tannins are quite soft, so it's not one that's going to make you want to brush your teeth, because tannins can usually dry out right here in your teeth. Like if you eat a really big grape with a thick skin, it dries out the front of your teeth or the roof of your mouth. So those are usually signs of tannins, and some of that comes from the barrels that they're aged in, and some of that comes from the grape skin. So this Aglianico is just very elegant, very soft. It's not meant to be aged. You can age it, but it's great right out of the bottle. You can decant it. You don't really need to. It's just delicious. And I like my reds at cellar temperature, particularly with lighter, more elegant ones. I would say you just don't want it to be too warm when you're drinking it. It just takes away a lot of the elegance and femininity. So I would say these are a good place to start. And in my opinion, everyone should have some of these. They're for every budget. So yes, you can go a little bit higher up. The winery also makes some phenomenal additional wines. They actually make an Aglianico from vines that are 200 plus years old. It's absolutely incredible if you can get your hands on it. They don't make much of it. And they also make some sweet expressions of Falanghina and some other grape varieties, Greco, Petit Rosso is another red variety, but this is a great place to start, particularly as we're going into the warmer months. Both of these are, both the Falanghina expressions are perfect for whether it be, porch drinking, out by the pool, or just in your kitchen as you're cooking, or with a delicious meal. And this is a red that I would happily take to anyone's house if I needed to impress someone, but at the same time, on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night, I'll happily drink this. And there's no guilt, because if I don't finish the bottle, which is never really a problem, I didn't spend, exorbitant amounts for the bottles. So now, next question is, where do I find these? Well, if you don't already know where these can be found in your area, just send us a note and I'll be happy to put you in touch with a wine merchant or an importer or a retailer that can help you get these into your hands. If you have any other questions on the region, or if you'd like more information on the history or anything I talked about, I would be happy to send you more information. Thank you so much, and see you next time.